Rollerball. McTiernan apparently didn't see eye to eye with the producer of Rollerball on the direction of the film, and he hired this private eye to find out what the producer's true intentions were, thinking that he was sabotaging Rollerball. Keep in mind, he was doing all of this illegal activity for Rollerball. McTiernan initially pleaded guilty to the charge as part of a plea bargain deal to cooperate with the prosecutors. However, those prosecutors believed that John McTiernan was still lying to them and was only telling partial truths, which then saw them seek a prison sentence for the famous filmmaker. McTiernan then hired new lawyers, accusing his previous ones of essentially not properly defending him. He tried to withdraw his guilty plea, but the judge did not allow that, and sentenced him to 4 months in prison and a $100,000 fine. The judge commented that McTiernan was someone who felt that he was above the law. And here is where we learn that sometimes it's better to leave well enough alone. John McTiernan appealed the sentence, and an appeals court actually vacated his sentence, saying that McTiernan was entitled to a proper hearing about his previous plea. But with the case reopening and McTiernan reversing his plea, the prior plea was off the table, and the prosecutors, fed up with John McTiernan's continued lies, filed additional charges against him, including a second charge of lying to the FBI and 1 count of perjury, with a potential jail sentence of up to 5 years. McTiernan would enter a guilty plea this time on all 3 charges, and was sentenced to 1 year in prison with the same $100,000 fine. The judge said that John McTiernan's crimes were more than just a momentary lapse in judgment, and that he had never seemed to fully accept responsibility for what he had done. Lying on the telephone to the FBI. So bad. Don't lie to them. McTiernan would appeal the decision again, but ultimately it stuck, and on April 3rd, 2013, John McTiernan, world-famous filmmaker, finally surrendered to federal prison in South Dakota for his 1-year sentence. And funny enough, this movie maker said that his prison experience was not like the movies. But apparently he suffered from depression while serving time and lost 30 pounds. But it wasn't all a waste, apparently. While in prison, he had the time to write that Thomas Crown Affair sequel. Hopefully it gets made one day. And he learned a lot about himself and how he feels about the corrupt prison system that we have, I guess. But on February 25th, 2014, movie maker John McTiernan was released from prison and was allowed to serve the remainder of his sentence on house arrest. Again, we must all keep in mind that all of this was brought on because of the movie Rollerball, the remake. Die Hard, Predator, or even Last Action Hero, I can understand someone doing time for those, but Rollerball? With John McTiernan's legal issues, he became pretty toxic in Hollywood. The Hollywood Reporter called John McTiernan one of Hollywood's most despised people, which I don't really get. I mean, he lied to the FBI. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's far worse, way more sinful, dangerous activity going on in Hollywood right now than lying to the FBI, but well, yeah, okay, yeah. Since his release from prison, John McTiernan has stayed off the radar, only popping up in 2017 to direct a short film called The Red Dot, which was released as an advertisement for a video game, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. But yeah, things may be looking up on the John McTiernan front. May 2019, it was announced that he would be teaming up with Uma Thurman to make a sci-fi action film. This was to begin shooting, but then they decided to shut the whole f***ing world down, thus shutting this production down as well.
Hi, my name's John McTiernan.
John McTiernan made a name for himself by making badass action films. His mighty handful of films truly made a mark on the art of movie making, especially in the action section of Blockbuster Video. And every single modern-day action movie owes a massive debt to this man. But sometimes one bad decision can derail your whole life. And for McTiernan, that decision was to direct the remake of Rollerball and lie to the FBI. Don't lie to the FBI, I guess. Or don't get caught. Some advice, children?
Thanks for the advice.
John McTiernan is now in his 70s, and free as a bird. Obviously, there's still some gas in his tank, and I say the world is due for at least one last classic John McTiernan action flick. Or maybe he should do a movie about what he learned about the prison system. But only if he wants to, because you know what? He served his time, no pun intended, I guess, and has paid his dues to the art of cinema. Like I said before, one dude brought us Predator, Die Hard 1 and 3, Hunt for Red October, Last Action Hero, and more. And that one man goes by the name of John McTiernan. With times a-changin' and movies not being, good anymore, filmmaker John McTiernan may very well be the true